Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. It's John St. Thomas and Rebecca St. Thomas with the Riley St. Thomas Group here at CMG, doing our second episode of our podcast here for the calendar year. And we are very happy and excited to have Edyi Nickola with us. And she is the team leader of the 4 Results team at Keller Williams Realty Sonoran Living. Like Rebecca, she's been doing real estate for a long time, but they started when they were 2 years old.
Yes.
So they're only 25. Right? So really happy to have her today and talk about basically how she got into real estate, obviously the current state of the market, her team. So Edyi, please, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about how you got into this crazy line of work like we all are in.
Thanks so much. And it's such a pleasure to be with both of you guys. And again, my business wouldn't be where it is even today without both of you. So thanks so very much for having me. Again, as John said, I'm Edyi Nickola and I've been in business. I will be celebrating my 30th year, which just blows my mind because it seems like I was just in real estate, started to, just recently. So been through a few seasons and we'll talk about that a little in this podcast as we go forward. But I love real estate. And when I first got into it, I was hired by a company that unfortunately doesn't really even exist anymore, ERA, right? Electronic Realty Associates. What a deal that was back in the day, right? To be technology driven even 30 years ago. And I remember my first office, I got the privilege of putting together the desk, sitting there patiently waiting for the first buyer to walk in, scared to death, and knew there had to be a different way. And I was fortunate enough to join Keller Williams and find that that different way was systems and models. And so since my very beginning, I have been now with KW going on 20 years, and I love the market. I have 2 amazing children I have put through college and gone places and done things that never thought I would do because of real estate. And my initial goal when I got in was to raise the standards of real estate. And through Keller Williams, I've been able to do that through the people I've met and grown with. That's kind of what I do best. And I love that. And serving my clients. So yeah, so that's how I got in this thing. Somebody talked me into coming in and putting together a couple desks and getting my license. So here we are.
Rebecca's always famous for saying this is the Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't check out.
Yep.
Seems to be the truth.
Yep.
So
Amen.
cool.
Amen. I know. Well, no, and I just want to say that, Edyi and I go way back. We really do. And we go way back through, more than just one Keller Williams office, here in the Valley of the Sun. We're both very proud to currently be with and have been doing business here with Keller Williams Arizona Realty Sonoran Living. Right, where we were the first office in the state of Arizona, office number 99. Barry and Lynn started that in our Ahwatukee, Phoenix office, and our Scottsdale office is an extension of it, as well as our Chandler Business Center. So proud to be part of all 3 market centers and everything. But we've seen a lot of changes and everything.
Yes.
And, I will say that, Edyi has been steadfast. For those of you who don't know who Edyi is, she is our sunshine. She, has been our productivity coach, continues to do, currently active and live coaching with the agents. People look to her experience in the market to go to. She writes a mean contract, is a fierce negotiator, represents the best interest of the client. Really, and it's her fiduciary responsibility to do so, and just holds everything to a highest standard, as well as participates with the amazing training and education that we have here at our market centers. For those of you who are listening who don't know this, Keller Williams is the #1 training company in the world, and largest agent count in the world. So proud to be a part of that. And through the models and systems that you were mentioning before, it's really led to your success and so many other agent success that we work with here at Keller Williams. So so thank you, Edyi, and everything, because you're going to share lots of good things with us today.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to
real quickly too, to talk about KW Sonoran Living. We are celebrating 25 years and we are just absolutely thrilled about that. So it is awesome to be part of something like that.
Yeah. Well, and to piggyback off Rebecca, because she mentioned a little bit of it, talk to us about some of the roles that you have played in KW. Because obviously you run a team now, you've been a productivity coach and all these things. What are some of the roles that you've had inside of Keller Williams offices?
Yeah, I've been very blessed to take and be in different Keller Williams offices and being Rookie of the Year. And that for one of our KW offices when I first came on into that company, and then also being productivity coaching for 17 years. I was the first PC productivity coach in Arizona with Keller Williams. I was cool before productivity coaching was cool. So it was fun back in the day, right? And I think that just being part of leadership within KW, they give you so many great opportunities. I love the education. I do a lot of teaching. I think that it keeps you sharp, and then it also allows you to share your wisdom with others. So that's really great. And I think that our ALC at Keller Williams, we have the top of the top, which is the Agent Leadership Council. I've been on that many, many times, and been involved in helping grow the market center so that it continues to pass on great agents and create great lives and change lives. And that's been wonderful. So, and then the career, I mean, the culture events are amazing. We have lots of culture events. And so we are constantly reaching out to the community, things like that. So I love being part of all of that KW offers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll say thank you again to you because, speaking about culture, you just spearheaded a wonderful drive, clothing drive for our wonderful Dress for Success Phoenix. We took 2 giant carloads of clothing, down to help both men and women. And that speaks to the culture that we have here at Keller Williams. I feel blessed to be on the culture committees with you, on the education committees with you, partnering with the ALC and everything. With our Agent Leadership Council here, really helping the market center and everything. So
yeah, it's great fun. It's what we love to do, right? That's it. Lives worth living. Lives worth living.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Now tell us about your team, the 4 Results team. How long have you guys been a team? How many members do you have? Any specific initiatives or things that set you apart? Tell us a little bit about your team.
Great. Well, I'd like to tell you the beginning of my team. My beginning of my team actually started with a gentleman from Iowa. He was a broker. His name was Don Jackson. He came here to Arizona to retire. He was wanting to try to retire out of real estate. And as you say, you can never leave. So he stayed with me. We created a partnership, and our team at that time, back in, that would have been 2004 and 5, we were the Results team, and we created that. And then we had a separation. In fact, he went to brokers, doing just a broker role, and I went to doing just a real estate agent and PC role. So all of a sudden, our beautiful team we had separated our partnerships equally, which was so wonderful. He has since gone to heaven. I am so proud to be part of his downline and part of his legacy at real estate. So that's really important to me. And then I decided about a year and a half ago, to pick that back up again and honor him in the fact of having 4 Results team. And so currently we are 9 members strong, and we service both the Phoenix, Scottsdale. I'm an East Valley girl. I've got agents all the way out in Buckeye. And so we cover the whole valley. And we also live up I do personally, and one of my other agents live up here in the Rim. So today I'm getting to view some snow, and a lot of snow lately. But so we do both the mountains and the valley. Out of our 9 agents that I currently have, and that we are producing, this year we'll be closing about 150 transactions. And we are a team that is all about servicing and the quality that our clients get, both on the listing side and on the buy side. So we really do take time to make sure that they're getting everything they need. And in today's world, with today's market, it takes a little bit more to do that. I think education, experience, being there, done that, got that t-shirt, really matters for our clients right now. So that's a little bit about my team. And they're all ages, all genders, they're everywhere.
Yes.
We're just having fun. So
yes, no, and I think it's so great that you cover, really the whole valley and then up north as well. So what's nice is that you have so much experience in so many different areas, and that you have agents who can go to different locations and really, to your point, service everyone's best interests. And, I'll say this because, obviously, John, I know this, that we've had the privilege of working with you with both on the list side when you're representing the sellers, going to sell a house, then they're going to go buy a new house, working with the buyers who are going to be buying your listings, or just, buyers going out into the marketplace. And, the extreme level of care that you give to people and is just amazing. And I think that, we have the same philosophy. We treat everyone like their family, right? So if you're my brother, you're my sister, this is how I'm going to treat you. And so our clients become our family. And it's really wonderful. And I know that it's just a very rewarding feeling to feel that way about what we do every day, and to wake up every day and just be grateful and thankful and just say, we're here to serve people. And we love to do that, and you certainly are the best of the best at that, for sure.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. It means a lot, especially coming from you, right? I love what I do, and I get to do it every day. And it said, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel that way. I feel like I just am so blessed to have the team, my incredible support with you and your whole company, which is awesome, and KW, and then my family. My family has reap the benefits and also put in the time, right? Because we know this isn't a 9-to-5 job by any means. And
right,
so
right.
we get that opportunity all the time to experience doing business at different hours, different places, different locations. And so we do love that very much.
No, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the market. It's been interesting. It's never a dull moment, as we say, right? I think that there's a lot of great things happening this year. So where do you see the market? What do you see the opportunities for 2023?
Yes, I see right now, again, I would say an opportunity for me is to help my buyers and sellers overcome fear. Sometimes the fear rally right now, and it's been that way in a lot of different ways, guys, I think. So hearing the fear of the sky is falling or interest rates are going high and that, and I think reality needs to be shared with everyone about again, we've been there. I had the privilege of being in the market when it fell off the cliff many years ago. And I'm still here today. And we have had some of the best markets. And there's always a need to buy a home, and there's always a need to sell a home. And so for me, the opportunity right now is to help educate both my team and that through where I've been before and what's happened before, and how we can integrate that into the market today, and sharing the truth. And the message is the fact that, last month in January, we sold almost 5,000 homes in the Valley. And that's very typical. If you go year over year, that's just typical. So it's not that we're not selling more homes, and in your market with being our money, we just know that interest rates go up and they go down. And I think it's kind of, I think about when we were giving away money, right? Free money, 2% is free money, 3% is free money. We've talked about this. And I think that unfortunately, we look back, I know I will probably never see that in my lifetime again. It would be really good if I would. So I think that we need to have some reality, and reality is the fact that interest rates go from 6 to 8, and that's somewhere in that world. We're going to live for a while, and it just it brings up the value of your home. And home prices right now in Arizona, especially, I think they're stabilizing in some of our marketplaces. We're even seeing a few multiple offers come in. And so the sellers don't have to drastically drop their prices to be able to get an offer. Yet I think that they need to have a pulse of the market. They need an agent that shares with them what's actually happening day in and day out. And with all this great technology, we can do that. We can literally give you the market in a day. So I think it's important.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, when rates are high or rates are low, people still do buy, right? I think initially when, we've had this experience of the last couple of years of rates being very, very low. So people look at things based on, I guess you could say, relativity, right? They're looking at, Well, now rates are 5. Well, that's really high compared to 2 or 3, right? Historically, that's very attractive, right?
It's
And then
very
rates went up to right?
mhm,
And then rates went up to
mhm.
7, and people really got freaked out for a while, and everybody kind of pulled back. And what's interesting is, these rates have been elevated for a while now. So it's almost as if people are starting to forget about the 2 and 3%, and it's starting to
Right.
normalize a little bit more. And so
Mhm.
people are kind of coming off, the sidelines and saying, well, okay, like this is where the market is. Like I can still buy, I can still potentially afford. And, there's definitely, of course, a group of people who the affordability is less. And so there are some people who can't buy, right?
Right. It
Um,
affects them. It affects them. And I think that, if you needed to buy a gallon of milk many years ago, it was a lot less than it is today, but it is what it is. If you need to buy a home, you've got to understand that this is normal. And I think it's going to be normal for quite a while. I love this idea that it also stops people from buying houses just cuz or dysfunctionally. So, when our
Right.
when our market was so crazy and people were just buying houses because, oh my gosh, interest rates are 2%, 3%, and there is no supply. I got to go take a house. They were buying anything. And that's dysfunctional. That's not correct. You need to buy a home because it fits you, you need it. It's what you want to be moving into. Yeah, it's an investment. So,
Oh yeah. I mean, to look at the positive side of rates being higher is now as a buyer, you actually have options and you have time to
mhm.
make decisions, right?
Yeah,
When rates
yeah.
were 2%, it was like if you didn't get your offer in within an hour of that home being listed, you probably weren't going to get it. And you had to
Mhm.
waive your appraisal contingency, you had to waive your inspection contingency, you had to bid $50,000 over, right? So these were all things that are just, like you said, not sustainable, but not great to be a buyer. So now where we're on the flip side of that, you can give it a day or two to think about it. You can get your inspection, you can get your appraisal, right? You can sometimes get closing costs covered from a
Yes,
seller,
yes, that was
so
normal. We used to do that all the time. Sellers always
Right.
paid some of buyers' closing costs, depending upon the price points they were in. It was a
Right.
it was a joint venture between the buyer and the seller wanting this house to be either occupied and owned by the new buyer, and the seller was going to go do what he was in. It was a team thing, and now for so long it's been back and forth, and that's not good. So we are
Right.
back in it, in a good
Well,
market, I think.
yeah, no, and I think to piggyback off what you just said, I think what's significant is that John and I are seeing literally every offer, every deal is a negotiation going back and forth. I haven't seen, this many counter offers, addendums going back and forth. So we have more of a negotiation, which is exactly where it should be. So you have the sellers that say, hey, I want to get the most for my house. And the buyers say, I'd like some closing costs, concessions. How are we going to give and take? What are we going to do? And then, the other thing that's interesting is, the inspection period. We have our 10-day inspection period here in Arizona. And we're seeing a lot of, okay, let's extend the inspection just a little bit. We want to make sure that we do our due diligence to make sure the condition of the property is what we want it to be. However, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we would like for you to help us with certain things. So we're seeing concessions. We just had two, the closing cost concessions were already built in, so we already had that negotiated. But we had so much of a concession on two just deals that were in the process of closing, where they also lowered the sales price over $10,000 because they wanted to give them more value for what the condition of the house was. And so they did that too. And that's interesting because we really haven't seen price reductions in the in the contract, period, so much. Certainly when
Yeah.
you're negotiating at the front end of the contract, you see that, but not during this. So I find that very interesting. But I really see that it's a more healthy environment, which is what we want to see, where sellers and buyers are going back and forth. And again, I'll speak to this over and over again. I tell people you have to have an experienced licensed agent who knows what they are doing. You should never, ever buy a property, sell a property without a licensed agent. It's really scary out there, but that's paramount to the success of what's going to happen. And really being able to, as a buyer or a seller, feel like you have solid representation. Because, like when I teach my contract law classes, I say to you all, as real estate agents, you guys are real estate attorneys per se, right? You
Mhm.
write a
Yeah.
contract, you
State of
help
Arizona.
people. You represent their fiduciary responsibility, to get their best interest served and everything. And it's a really big deal. So it's a really important what you do. And it's important for you all to feel good about what you do, working with other agents and negotiating successfully.
I think in today's market, agents that don't have good negotiation skills, I would tell them that's the one thing that you need to focus on and get and master. So the mastery of negotiation is really important. And in Keller Williams, it's always a win-win. So a lot of people think that it's adversarial, but it's not. It's actually making everybody a win situation, and it can be done, especially if you're great at negotiating. And so I think that's really important in today's market.
No, absolutely. And I think that also speaks to the model of a team, and having someone like yourself who is there to help the other agents that don't have as much of experience, to say, this is how we negotiate, this is how we write the contract, this is how we talk to the other agent, this is what we do, to make sure that it goes the right way. Because, none of us, we all start from somewhere in this business, right? And, our story, my story, where, I mentored under our best friend who started a mortgage business, 28 years ago. And I believe in mentoring. You just don't hop into this business and say, oh, wow, I read a bunch of books, I studied, I passed my exam, I know what I'm doing. You don't know anything when you get in this business. So the mentoring and having a team leader like you is so important to making sure that things go the right way, and you feel like you're learning the process the correct way.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Rebecca, well, you said something, and it makes me kind of want to ask an additional question. You had said negotiations was important. So let me get your take on this. If you're a new agent or you're coaching a new agent, what would be the 3 most important things that you would want to get across to them as, hey, you're starting in real estate? You mentioned negotiation is extremely important. What would be 2 other things that you would say you really need to know this or do this to be effective in this business?
Right. I would say, first of all, there's 3 all of their own. Listen, listen, and listen. So, right. So kind of like there's location, location, location. There's listen, listen, listen. I think the ability, again, and it goes into negotiating, is being able to listen to what your clients are saying and to be able to convey that back to them so that there's clarity and understanding. That is paramount in being able to service your client and make sure that the transaction goes smoothly or smoother, and that it is that win-win. And that all has to do with listening. So negotiation, listening. The third I would say is again, having that support staff. You don't need to know everything, but you need to know people that do. Right. So for me, it's I love my relationship with my broker because of the fact that I do pop-ins anytime I need to, and I can just reach out and ask questions that come up, because the real estate is ever changing. It's a living, breathing, time. It's everything that's happening at one, in a process. So I would say making sure that you have the support of someone or a company or a team. We're always hiring. Anyways, team that I would love to have you come talk to us. But anyways, a team, listen and get really good at negotiating. I think that's going to be what you need to be, right? There's a saying that says you can't be the answer to somebody's prayers till you know what they're praying for. And so that to me is a big thing that I really push in my team is listen. You got to listen. That would be it.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Thanks.
Well,
this is great.
we usually like to wrap up with 5 final questions that we ask, kind of simple questions here. I always like to get our partners' takes on this. So the first one of our final 5 is, do you have a favorite real estate or self-help book that you've read or reading right now? Is there one that you tell people to read? What do you like best?
Wow. Because I happen to be an Audible nut, I have I have like 60 Audible books I listen to. I am always listening to different books about and putting it in my head. I have a book every day, something I'm listening to every day. Because I'm Keller Williams, I'm going to say the MREA book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, right? That'll help you anytime, every time to build your business. I love it. You have it in your office right there, don't you? Yes.
That's what she's grabbing. Yeah, there it is.
It matches my shirt. Woo, woo.
Yes, you look great.
So I would, and I'm really glad you asked that about books, because leaders are readers. And if you're reading day in and day out,
Yes.
you're getting stuff put in your head, you're going to be a better leader. And at the end of the day, what your client really wants from you is you to lead them. They want you to help them, lead them, show them, tell them, be that leader, step in. So that would be it. So I'll say the MREA, but if anybody wants my list of books, I'll gladly send it to you.
Right on. Right
Got
on.
it.
Cool. Well, let me ask, because you listen to a lot of Audible. Do you have a podcast that you like to listen to?
There is a CEO, Gary Keller's CEO podcast. I'm not so much of a podcast until today. I'm going to really get into this, so this is going to be something new. But I'm not really into a whole lot of podcasting and that. So I would say probably again the Gary Keller's CEO podcast that he has. So,
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that he had his own.
yeah, it's really good.
Right
Mhm.
on, right on. Our third question is, what is one piece of advice you would give to a potential client or someone who's looking to buy or sell in today's market? You could pick just a buyer or a seller. What's something important or a piece of advice that you think they need to know in order to be successful as a buyer or a seller in today's market?
Yeah, I would say as a buyer, because again, we're having more of them, which is great. But when that happens, then they have more choices and more things, squirrels, bright, shiny objects all over. Everybody's got somebody.
Yep.
Really, really interview the person that is going to take your personal information and they're going to educate you on buying your home, because this is an investment. Whether it's your first home, you can think of it as your kids' education when they grow up, or you're downsizing and it's part of your retirement. It's your nest egg. So when you're a buyer and you're buying properties, you really have to have people like yourself, Rebecca and John, that actually, again, education is so important. And to know that things aren't always done 30-year fixed out the road, same way, same thing. That is not true. The market changes, and having people that know about that matters. That's what I'd say.
Yep.
I like it.
Great.
Yeah, it was very good. All right, now we'll put you on the spot here. Is there one thing that makes you different or that you do differently from other agents and you think makes you stand out?
Yeah, I would say that it has to do with my love for what I do. So the love for what I do as a real estate agent, a lot of times people have asked me, why don't you do something else? I could never do anything else. I love real estate. And I think that when you meet me, when you talk with me, that comes across. And I think that is infectious, and it helps people through some really hard times. We should, instead of real estate school, we should all go to shrink school so we can be, psychologists helping people in their brain. But I love it. So I think it would be the passion, the love, and the energy for the business, for the career I'm in. Yeah.
Well, I think your tenure speaks to that, right? I don't think anybody does something for 30 years if they don't want to do it, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So you've been doing it for 30. I think that shows you obviously are enjoying it quite a bit. You've chosen to do it for an extended period of time.
I'm in it to win it.
I don't know. Well, lastly, kind of simple, where can people find you? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook, TikTok? Do you have a team website? Where can people find you?
Great. Well, I am on Facebook, and I happen to be very blessed with my name. So Edyi, Edyi. I am the only Edyi you're going to find out there. Instagram also. Our website for our team is the number four results team. So we're 4resultsteam.com. That's our website. And we also have an Instagram and a Facebook under that too. And then again, a little old fashioned. Some things just never go away. My phone number, 602-329-0202. Pick up the phone. Sometimes with all this technology, I still go back to my agents. Pick up the phone. Just pick them up. Pick up the phone.
Amen.
So that's really important. Yep. That's
no
it.
Question. Yep. And just as a recap, your team services all of Phoenix and the Rim. So we would include Payson, and what other, would it just be Payson, or would we include Pine Top? And
yeah, actually, so we go from Happy Jack, which is almost flagged, from Happy Jack, Strawberry, Pine, Payson, Heber, Overguard, Show Low, Pine Top. So the whole rim across there would be where we would be able to help you assist anybody in buying or selling or investing in homes and that. And then again, I've been up here about 4 years. So down in the valley, my big core is there, and that I have taken and worked all the way out to Verrado, which you could actually smell California at some point. And
You can
Casa
see the
Grande,
ocean.
you can see the ocean almost. Casa Grande, and then out to like Florence and up into Gold Canyon. So very familiar. You can imagine over 1,000 transactions in my career. I've seen the area. So, and I've seen it go from fields of hay to homes. So if anybody needs anything in all of that, we're able to help you out with that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Edyi, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us and chat about some of these things. I'm looking forward to getting this out there so a lot of other people can view it. We'll have, we'll be on YouTube. We'll have some little snippets for Instagram and things like that. But we can definitely say you are a valued partner of ours and leader in the Keller Williams space. So thank you.
Yep, you are our sunshine. You're our sunshine, and we love you dearly. So, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that the wall that we're sitting on separates us only a little bit because we are neighbors here, which is wonderful. So, well, good.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Edyi.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Stay warm in the snow.
Yes, take
care. I will. Woo.